Welcome to the inaugural interview series on the Nico Penguin YouTube channel. Today, we are joined by a very special guest, Gilbert Reyes. Now, for those that don't know, this is a stream for productive gamers by a gamer. And the first guest is a State Farm insurance agent, Gilbert Reyes. Now, husband, for those that don't know, father, this is entrepreneur, real estate investor, by a proud Latino of and Dominican first descent. Guest is he primarily focuses on being an insurance agent with a bilingual insurance team and preparing customers real estate unexpected proud Latino assisting with auto, home, life, primarily focuses on being an insurance agent with insurance as well as assisting business owners with commercial real estate insurance in the Jefferson County area of Alabama with a 5-star rate on Google Business Profile with over 25 reviews. Gilbert, thank you so much for giving some time out of your day to join.
Thank you. I'm glad that we could finally make this happen. We've been talking about this for a while, so it's I'm
Thank you so
you know
much
I'm
for
thankful for
giving
the
some
invite.
time out of your day
Appreciate
to
that.
join. Oh, of course.
Thank you. I'm glad that we could finally make this happen. We've been talking about this for a while, so it's
Gilbert,
I'm
thank you so much. Oh, perfect, perfect. Yeah, there's so much that
I'm glad
five-star
that we could
rating
finally make
right
this
now.
happen. We've been talking about this for a while, so it's
Gilbert,
I'm
thank you so much. Moment I'm having. Oh, perfect, perfect. Yeah, there's so much that
I'm glad that
five-star
we could
rating
finally make
right
this
now.
happen. We've been talking about this for a while, so it's
Gilbert,
I'm
thank you so much. Moment. Boom, there we go. And now we came here because there's so many things that we have going on in our daily lives, and you decided to take some time out of your day to provide some clarity, not only for my channel but also for your business, the things that you do. Now, I wanted to know, since you are an entrepreneur as well as many other things, what do you define as entrepreneur in your sense? Because you did mention to me privately that you do a lot of things, but maybe some people don't know what you do. So could you clarify what it is that you do?
Yeah, just to define entrepreneur. Many people can be an entrepreneur, man. I think that that's something that's um, it's when someone wants to be an entrepreneur is that they it's because they have that desire to have their own business in some sort of way.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's something that I've always had inside of me. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I always wanted to kind of create my own schedule, have my own freedom, and be able to say, okay, this is my product, this is what I sell. But me personally, one of the main things that I'm doing right now is State Farm Insurance. Opened up my business in January of this year. But always kind of had that. I've always been sales driven. Always wanted to do I always wanted to have more control of my own income, my own how I wanted to control my money in a way. So I think that entrepreneur was something that always was interesting to me.
Interesting. Now, because you're an entrepreneur and you do a lot of things primarily with insurance, what would you say is your biggest failure so far, and what did you learn from that experience?
Well, I think that people, like people say, there's no every bad situation or anything that you go through is always a learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that I agree with. I wouldn't say I've had any big failures. I think that there was some knucklehead moves that I've made in the past, some mistakes,
Yeah, yeah.
some business, some deals that went sour.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like I said, it's always things that you can learn from. There was nothing that I say, this is a big failure of mine. I mean, there's a deal that I kind of think about every so often. I'm like, man, I wish I would have done that differently.
Mm-hmm.
That's really it. I mean, there's nothing as far as like a big failure. I don't believe in that. I think that every experience is something you can take something away from that being good or bad. You can always take something away from every experience. There's no substitute for experience. Um, so yeah, I wouldn't say I have any big failures, but definitely some mistakes, just like every entrepreneur.
Right. Now, in regards to not failing but having business challenges, what would you say
Yeah,
is your current biggest business challenge, and what are you doing right now in order to overcome that business challenge?
business challenge. You know, it's a number of different things. There's going to be different types of challenges. Sometimes you're faced with challenges with your team,
Mm-hmm.
and internal challenges, things that you have to overcome. I think that right now it's a very interesting time for all business owners, pretty much. I mean, all businesses,
Mm-hmm.
with the way that COVID kind of like it made everything a little bit. If we were going digital, COVID made that even more so.
Right, right, right,
It kind of sped that process up. And now you're having a new generation coming up. The
right.
Gen Z. They're young adults now, so it's catering to them and what do they want. I mean, in every generation that you go through, to stay relevant, to have a relevant business, you're always wanting to adapt. So I think one of the biggest challenges is adapting,
Mm-hmm.
and making sure that you're catering to your clients.
The adaptability of being an entrepreneur, staying on top of everything regarding technology, as well as the new and up and coming customers, and if you have a team, as well as your new team members as well, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, at the end of the day, they're not just team members or employees or however you want to say it. They're people, and you got to take care of your people. They have their struggles. They have things that they go through.
Mm-hmm.
You want to create the most pleasant work environment. You want to make sure that they're happy. I
Right.
think that people always have the saying, oh, this is worth $1 million. Well, the right team member, the right employee is worth more than $1 million to you. There's somebody that can create, wealth for your
Mm-hmm.
business. They can be somebody that can be with you for many, many years.
Right.
You want to make sure that they're always taken care of. I think that sometimes people get caught up on, okay, this is what we need. This is the results that we need. And they neglect their team
Hmm.
and creating a good business relationship with their team members. So you always want to be on top of that. You always want to cater to your own team. You want to have your team's back. Um, and yeah, other internal challenges that you may be facing every day.
Hmm. And so sometimes you're not necessarily knowing what's coming through or coming down the pipeline in terms of any issues or anything like that. But what were something, or maybe one little thing that you just completely did not expect when you actually became a business owner and an entrepreneur?
It's funny you say that because the way that State Farm is structured,
Mm-hmm.
um, we acquired a book of business. We so there was a previous agent that unfortunately he passed away. He was an older agent.
Mm-hmm.
He passed away, and we acquired a lot of his clients. One thing that I wasn't expecting was the amount. I wasn't expecting what that would look like the first month.
Okay.
Here you have a bunch of clients. You have a new agent. They were all notified of the new agent, and it's like it's so fast paced, man. I mean, everybody wants to talk to me.
Right.
Everybody wants to get to know
You're
me.
the guy.
Who are you? Yeah, yeah. Who are you? I've never seen your name ever before. Now I had to trust all my policies with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was challenging. I didn't expect that. I mean, I knew about it and everybody talked about it like, hey, be prepared for this because everybody's gonna want to talk to you,
Mm-hmm.
as the business owner, as the agent, everybody's gonna want to talk to you, but I didn't expect that volume. So that was definitely challenging. That was something that we had to figure out. And I mean, first couple months, I remember I try to forget this, but the first 2 weeks of opening up the business, my phones weren't even working properly. It
Ooh.
was like little things like that. My
Mm-hmm.
internet wasn't up. My phones weren't receiving calls. I mean, it's just little things like that. So that was definitely a challenge. I wasn't expecting that at all.
Man, you say it so little, but honestly, that might be one of the biggest things that you have to face in the beginning of your business because anybody else
Yeah.
might have folded under all that pressure. You're getting
Yeah.
hounded. People are trying to reach out to you. They don't know how to get access to you. They have no idea. Your phones are
Yeah.
down. Like, how do you even stay cool, calm, and collected and provide, good customer service and provide the quality service that they're needing from you?
That's definitely something that That's an advice that I give to anybody wanting to open up a business, anybody wanting to be an entrepreneur or have this type of lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to be calm, you have to be cool, you have to be collected, you have to be at peace. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful to God for, the experiences that I've went through.
Mm-hmm.
Um Sometimes we ask for wisdom, or we ask to be stronger individually,
Right, right.
mentally, and what the way that that's developed is through challenging situations.
Correct.
So it's thanks to those challenging situations. When I was faced with that,
Mm-hmm.
in the beginning of the year, the phones weren't working.
Right.
I was at peace. Okay, I called the phone company. We had to get the phones forwarded to my cell phone. We found a way.
Right.
It was definitely a different process, nothing that we expected, but we had to find a way. I mean, and that's the thing about it. You can't fold in situations like that. Um, you know, Everybody desires that leadership role,
Mm-hmm.
but hey, at the end of the day, it's leadership. You have to lead by example, and you have to be the one to be calm, because if you're not calm, your team's not going to be calm.
Right.
It's all up to you.
Now, what enables you to be able to have that strength and that mental fortitude? Is it belief in God? Is it you knowing what the process is, you knowing what your customers and what your employees and team members need from you, and because you know that, you're able to stay solid versus somebody that might have no idea what is expected from them as a leader? They're not so sure and so certain, and easily any situation, any small little trips like that could completely take them down.
Man, I think at the end of the day, you have to look at yourself in the mirror, and you have to remind yourself every single day. I
Hmm.
can't tell you what exactly it is. I think it's a collection of a lot of different things. Like I said, I mentioned those experiences.
Hmm.
I'm a strong believer in God. I think that a lot of my peace comes from Him, and
Hmm.
knowing that He has every single situation taken care of. So I put a lot of faith in my religious beliefs. Um, but at the end of the day, you got to look at yourself.
Right.
You got to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, you know what, it's gonna be okay. And you got to have a strong back. Some days I don't feel like it. I don't feel like, you know, I'm I'm in the right place mentally, or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, I had to fake it. I got to fake it till you make it.
Right. Right.
And I don't know. I can't tell you one specific thing. I think if there was some things that I would point to, it would be experiences, past experiences. It would be reminding yourself like, hey, if it's not, it's up to you. So you got to make it work.
Hmm.
There's nobody else that you can fall back on. It's up to me. And my belief in God for sure.
And so you're saying that one mistake essentially doesn't define your career, doesn't define your leadership, doesn't define your productivity.
I think it's definitely the way you come out of those mistakes.
Hmm.
I mean, even the way self-talk is very important. Even with that first question that you asked me about failure, I don't look at any situation as a failure.
Hmm.
I look at it as a learning opportunity. Um, so no, no, shoot. I mean, we're gonna make a lot of mistakes. I think it's like the opposite.
Hmm.
As an entrepreneur, business owner, whatever it is that you're doing, if it's parenthood, if it's
Hmm.
whatever the case may be, if it's sports, you're gonna go through a lot of different mistakes, and you're
Hmm.
gonna go through a lot of failures, but you're looking for that one good day. So no, no, not at all. Mistakes don't make you. It's the way you come out of it.
Now, in your personal and professional opinion, what do you think is the most important personality trait or strength that somebody would need in order to work in your industry and be successful at that job?
Man, you gotta have a strong motor.
Hmm.
You gotta have a strong motor. You gotta be self-driven, self-motivated. I think that if I was interviewing somebody today, I wanna know what gets you up in the morning. I
Hmm.
wanna know, why are you doing this? You say that you're money hungry
Hmm.
and you want to be successful, and you want the nice things, that the nice cars, the nice house. You want
Yep.
all that, but
Yep.
why? I think
Hmm.
that Simon Sinek talks about this a lot. He talks about, well, he has a book, your why. And I think that's very, very important. So I want to know somebody's why. I want to know somebody's engine. What is it that gets them excited? So you have to have that really, really defined in anything that you do. No matter what the career is,
Mm-hmm.
if you're a young person going into an interview, you want to showcase that to your employer. You want to let them know, like, hey, you don't have to be telling me what to do. You don't have to be motivating me every single day, because I have that
Right.
embedded in me. I know why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I think that's very, very important. I've been with State Farm for about 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And there was times, man, it was challenging. It was
Right.
challenging. I was waiting for this opportunity. I wanted to be a business owner. I wanted to open up my own agency.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to remind myself of, why am I doing this?
Right.
Because there was job offers. I was getting job offers left and right. I mean, you go on LinkedIn, you go on Indeed, you
Right.
put your
Right.
resume out there, you're gonna have 1,000 companies reaching out to you. But I didn't want to go to a company that was gonna give me, let's say, an $80,000 salary, and that's my cap.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted something that had my name on it, something that could, benefit my family
Right.
and create generational wealth. Like, that was my why. So once you know that, I mean, the sky is the limit.
Man, that's actually so intriguing. Knowing the whys enables you to far exceed your expectations and your limitations.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, that's actually important. Now, I do also want to know that so far in your career as well in your other businesses, what has been the most important lesson that you have learned so far?
The most important lesson that I've learned so far:
Mm-hmm.
team leadership. I've learned a lot with team. Um, you know, we've had a really great year so far. We've had a lot of success this year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's because of team. It's the people that I have around me. A lot of other offices, a lot of first year agents, they can't say the same, and it's because they didn't have the
Light
team.
flex.
I mean, hey, it's true. It's
Right,
true.
right.
It's all about my team. So the biggest thing that I've learned is take care of your team, for
Hmm.
sure. Before opening up, I told myself, I was like, I'm not gonna open up until I've read one book. There was two books that I told myself I was gonna read,
You
but
got to give
the
us some
main one,
recommendations. Yeah, give us some recommendations.
How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Mm.
For any new business owner, anybody's gonna be leading people,
Mm-hmm.
I recommend that book. I told myself, hey, I don't want to open until I finish this book, and thankfully that's what I was able to do. And I learned a lot. I've had management roles in the past, supervisor roles, all that. And I look back and I'm like, man, I would have done that differently. If I
Mm-hmm.
had the mentality that I have right
Mm-hmm.
now, I would have talked to that person differently in that situation. I would have led that person differently. So I think that that's like the biggest thing. Taking care of your people, making sure your people are okay. At the end of the day, they're not just a commodity or whatever you want to. They're not just some sort of asset to your business, which they are. I mean, good people are great assets to your
Right,
business,
right,
but they're not just that. They're people.
right.
So you take care of your people, and they're gonna take care of you for sure.
Dang, that's so important. Now, in regards of that leadership position, do you
Yeah.
or have you ever had a mentor that has been able to walk you through either these insurance steps or any business steps, or you just been solo dolo?
No, you can't do anything solo. No, you can't. You can't. As much as it's tempting to want to be like that,
Mm-hmm.
like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I got this. I can take care of my own. I mean, sometimes the ego comes into that. No, it's about people. You want to make sure you have the right mentors. So I have a lot of mentors. I have one specific mentor that taught me what it takes to be successful in this industry,
Mm-hmm.
as far as like how much work you have to put into it. I've had mentors that they just they help me with the financial side. Um, you know, my accountant was a big help for me, and I don't even think he knows this, but as far as like the financial side of the business, which is extremely important. You know, he
Right.
taught me a lot and he kind of guided me with that. And people are always looking like, oh, well, I can't find mentors. Or how am I supposed to find a mentor? You go to the library, you go to Barnes and Noble, Books a Million, wherever you want to go, mentors are looking at you, you know, and you find mentorship through books. So I think that that was, you know, that's a lot of the mentorship that I have. I mean, you know, today with social media, you can find inspiration and mentors online. So no, you can't do anything solo. A lot of the things that I do every single day, it's taken from somebody else.
That's actually pretty important because a lot of people do have that ego issue, and it really,
Yeah,
really affects how they're capable of listening, accepting critical feedback, m- absorbing that feedback, and trying to improve upon it. Because a lot of times somebody might tell you if you do X, Y, and Z instead of A, B, C, your business is going to do much better. And because you have that ego issue, you don't want to listen.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
And you mentioned that you have a lot of individuals that give you that clarity and provide assistance for you. Now, other than those individuals, do you have three individuals that have impacted your life? Maybe not necessarily only in business, but in general, and that have enabled you to be who you are today?
Three individuals.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I was to say if I was gonna say three individuals, I would say my family, my close family, my wife, my parents, my family. You know, they're my motivation. You know, when you have somebody that is, you know, speaking life to you and kind of always there for you on your worst days, I mean, those are the people that impact you the most. You know, I have some really close friends that I know that, you know, I trust them and I know that I can tell them anything,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a lock vault. You know, they're gonna give me good advice. So I have my team. I think anybody that's looking for that, you gotta pick your team wisely. Very, very
Mm.
important. You gotta pick your team wisely. That being family, friends, whoever it is, you know, you gotta make sure that those are the right people. They're gonna give you wise advice. So yeah, just some very close friends and family for sure. Those are the people that inspire me the most, or have impacted me the most.
Man, that's actually so many wise words of wisdom, Gilbert. Oh my goodness, you're on a roll right now. So you mentioned that since you are an entrepreneur, you lead individuals. Do you have any tips regarding like any productivity hacks that you might either have for them that you gave them before that you heard one time and you applied it and you're like, wow, this is such a hack, or maybe you discovered it on your own?
Man, accountability. You have to create your own schedule. So important. You have to be a very organized person.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something that, and there's different personalities. I think that, you know, like me personally, if
Mm-hmm.
I'm being honest, I'm the type of person that's going 100 miles an hour all the time.
Same.
Okay, so always 100 miles an hour, just go, 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 go. And that's great. That's a great trait to have because you don't want to be somebody that's like, you know, cruising at 30, 40
Right,
miles an
right,
hour.
right.
You don't want that type of person, right? But a lot of times you see that that person is very organized. The one that's cruising is very organized, very clean, knows what they're doing when they're doing it. And then you have people like you and I that's very go go go. Well, sometimes we forget about the details, and details are so important.
Right.
So you want to be organized. And I tell my team this all the time. You know, we do a lot of things over the phone, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of prospecting, calling internet leads for sales. And I ask them, what lead are you working on? Who are you calling? What time are you doing this? What time are you doing that? Because organization is so key. Um, we talked about the motor and having that. Well,
Mm-hmm.
that's very important as well. But if there was a hack, you want to stay organized. You want to know when you're doing your things.
Mm-hmm.
You want to have your day planned out. I mean, if that's not, I'm not just referring to your 9 to 5,
Right.
right? I'm talking about the things that you do before and after that,
Right. Right.
because that's equally important.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not getting, you know, your good rest, or you're not waking up at a certain time, if you're not having your spiritual time, you know, whatever your beliefs are, if that's spiritual time or time to meditate and reflect, um, all that is important. So your day to day, your every single hour is very, very important. I tell my team as well. I tell them, guys, we got to be intentional with what we're doing. The
Hmm.
conversations that we're having,
Hmm.
you got to be intentional, because time is money at the end of the day. So, um, yeah, that's the hack right there. You
Multiple
figure that
hacks.
out. Yeah, you figure that out. You'll be in a good place.
Now, you mentioned that you and your team essentially do a lot of lead and prospecting. Now, are there
Yeah.
any tips that you may have regarding the easiest way you tackle any sales conversation?
Whew. That's a heavy question right there. There's a lot of
Just one,
tips.
just one.
Just one? Ah, that's hard, man. That's hard.
I don't want to
Okay,
overwhelm you and ask you the
I
whole
got you,
book
I
of,
got
you
you
know what
right
I'm
here.
saying?
I
Just
got you
one.
right here. No matter what you're doing, if that's sales over the phone,
Mm-hmm.
in person, you want to do, your goal should be three things,
Hmm.
and it's all together. But you want to make sure that the client or the prospect trusts you,
Mm-hmm.
they trust your company, and they trust your product.
Hmm.
So every single encounter, if I'm selling cars, if I'm selling furniture, if I'm selling insurance, the goal should be to make the client trust me as a person,
Mm-hmm.
that I'm going to give them the best recommendation, trust the company. Like, hey, if we say we're going to do this, we're going to do it, and trust the product. Once again, if that's furniture, clothing, insurance,
Mm-hmm.
if it's a car, hey, this car is going to get you to A to B in a luxury way or whatever it is. Or if
Right,
it's a
right, right.
furniture piece, hey, this couch is going to last you 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Or this insurance, this product is going to make sure that it's providing you the right coverages when you need it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the goal. Trust you, trust the company, and trust the product.
I like that. I like that. That's very intriguing. Giving the individual, the client, the customer, the opportunity to have a trust. Because if they
Yeah.
don't trust it, there's no reason for them to even want to do business with you.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
very interesting. Now, you've mentioned so many great things. If you had to write a book about yourself, what would you write about?
That book is on the way. I think that's something that, I definitely want to do. I'm thinking about a book. I'm very passionate about sales. I think that that's something that, I've always been in love with. Every single job that I've ever had. I mean, from my first job working in a
Mm-hmm.
restaurant, I wanted to make sure that I sold the most. So I think, I would be doing a sales book for sure. And I want to talk about, in the book, I would like to talk about like the first year struggles of a business owner, because I think that, a lot of times people see the finished product,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the day and age that we live in, where everybody's wanting to show all the pretty and all the good stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
hey, this is what I'm doing, this is how much money my business is generating. I would like to talk about, kind of like those first year struggles and how to overcome that.
Yeah, because a lot of times they'll just show you the perfected and finished masterpiece, and you have no idea how where was the A, B's, and C's. You're just showing me the Z, all the great and amazing things.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's very very interesting. I'm glad to hear that the book is on the way. Now, if
Yeah, tell me.
your worst enemy was to give a title to that book, what would they give it? And
If my worst What do you mean by that? If my worst enemy was
yeah,
to give a title to that book,
I mean, or you could choose your best friend if you have no worst enemies. If they were to put a title, not you, if they were to put a title on your book, what would they give it?
I don't know, man. People like to hate. So something like that. Something like that. I couldn't even tell you. I have no idea.
Okay, so
I
you're
don't
still
know. I
cooking.
don't
You're
know.
still cooking that book.
I think okay, I got you. I got you.
Okay.
If my worst enemy
Mm-hmm.
or just somebody along those lines was to give the title to my book, they would probably say, everything was given, nothing was earned. That would be the
Hmm.
title to the book. I think, a lot of people, they have that mentality that, you know, they think that people are given things in a silver
Mm.
spoon, and it's really not like that. It's a lot of grind, it's a lot of hard work. So yeah, that's what they would name it.
No, that's perfect because
Everything was given, nothing was earned,
yo,
which
that's perfect.
when that's far, far from the truth.
No, because in the reality, you would just do the opposite because
Yeah.
you know that in your heart that everything that you have has been through hard work, blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's a perfect title for the anti uh the anti book. Now, if you were to do something else, not saying that you're not going to do insurance no more, but if you were to do
yeah.
something else, what would your primary occupation be?
Something that impacts people's lives. Something that I feel like I think that's what drove that like that's what made me fall in love with insurance. I see the way that it impacts positively impacts people's lives, taking care of people. I don't know, something along those lines. Um, yeah, I mean, there's so many great careers, so many great industries that do that.
Hmm.
It would just be something like that, taking care of people.
Are there any of those that you currently insure as a commercial insurance agent that you ran across and you're like, man, I would have done this if I didn't know about insurance.
Well, when I started, with State Farm, it was just like insurance,
Hmm.
auto insurance, home insurance, life insurance, disability insurance. But now I'm doing more of the financial services side, talking to people about their money,
Mm.
their what are they doing for retirement, making sure that they're better prepared for that. So if I wasn't doing insurance,
Hmm.
and I don't want to give any specific company a shout out, but I guess I'm gonna do it. I would go work for like a Edward Jones or a JP Morgan, some type of company like that
Hmm.
where
Hmm.
it's kind of doing the same thing, helping making sure people are properly protected and prepared for retirement.
Oh, so like a financial advisor?
And that's what I get to do now through State Farm with
Oh.
some of the products that we do.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's we've done some recent partnerships.
Mm.
So we're able to sell some of those products, and it's getting licenses and learning that field. We have a lot of insurance products that will help people be better prepared for the retirement.
Hmm.
I like to say that, I help people diversify their portfolio. So we don't want to just put everything or rely on Social Security or your 401k. We want to make sure that you have options, and you have multiple streams of income during your retirement. So that's what I do right now. So yeah, if I wasn't doing just insurance,
Right,
I
right.
would do something like that.
Oh, so you just like,
Or real estate. I love real estate too. So I mean, real estate's awesome.
I mean, you
Everybody
still
loves
you
real
you help
estate.
people with real estate, finding people a place to stay.
Man, that's so important. I love real estate. But yeah,
Oh, so you just
everybody can do real estate.
yeah,
Go
see
flip a property. Everybody can do real estate.
now you have so much going on for you right now in this moment. But if
Yeah.
you were able to take a little time capsule and go back to 18-year-old Gilbert, what are some pieces of advice? You only have like 2 minutes. What are some pieces of advice that you would give a younger version of yourself?
Man, slow down and think, slow down. Slow down. Make sure you're making wise moves.
Hmm.
We talked about those mistakes. And that's okay. Those mistakes are the ones that form you.
Hmm.
I've actually thought about that question before. I think everybody has kind of like thought about that, right? Especially when you have like Elon Musk and
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg saying all these crazy new things that are coming. What about a time machine, right? So I've thought about that question, and you know what? Like honestly, I can honestly say that I wouldn't tell them to do anything differently.
Hmm.
I would just say, slow down, make sure you're making wise decisions, and you're gonna be all right. Keep grinding, keep doing what you're doing, and don't stress the little things. I think that's one thing that I've learned.
Hmm.
Um, and going back to what you had said in the beginning, you talked about, what is it that keeps you at peace during some of those troubling times? Well, it was those experiences, and I remember that, a younger me was stressed out about those things.
Hmm.
If I just felt like the world was collapsing on me when in fact that wasn't the reality. It's gonna be okay. You know, stay calm, cool, collected. Think about every single decision that you're gonna make, and try to do the best that you can.
Man, sounds like you are ready to write that book. Now,
Not quite, not quite.
now we're almost wrapping up here. Now, have you ever heard of somebody give you an insult that you actually were proud of or you took it as a compliment?
Oh yeah, I've heard people have told me things like, "Man, you're relentless," or "Man, you keep on calling me," or whatever, something like that. I think that's like the best compliment that I've heard. Like, if it's a sale over the phone, like, "Man, you're tenacious," or whatever, something along those lines. That's a compliment. That just means that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And I tell them, I turn that right back around on them. Hey, you want to be with somebody like me
Right.
that's gonna work hard, that's gonna be making the right calls and working for you. So yeah, I think that's the best one.
Oh, that's a great one. I like that. You being relentless. And now, if you had a question that you wanted me to ask you, what would it be and how would you have answered?
There's a question that I wanted you to ask me. I mean, you're asking some great questions, man. You're a professional at your craft. If there was a question that I would want you to ask me, and how would I answer it? Man, you're asking all the right questions. I couldn't tell you that one, man. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one. I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, all right. So that means I'm doing my job correctly. That's
Yeah, you are.
perfect.
You are.
Perfect. Now, the last question I do have is if somebody was interested in, doing business with you or
Yeah.
collaborating with you, or maybe they
Yeah.
heard you explain that you're relentless, they heard you describe how much of a great team organizer you are, how you're able to organize a team in order to make them productive, how you're able to stay true and solid through turbulent times. How are they able to reach out to you in order to have that conversation where you might be able to manage their team, help them understand how to convert sales more? How can they reach you in order to have that business connection?
First thing that I would say to that person is don't be afraid to reach out. I think that's the thing that I love most about what I do. Is helping other people. If that's with the products that we offer or team development, sales, whatever it is, don't be afraid to reach out to me. There's multiple ways that you can reach out. I mean, you can always find us online. My website is myagentreyes.com. You can always send us a message. You can always text or call our office. That's one way to reach me. And then we have, your different social media platforms you can find me at. You can find my personal social media at Gil_Kings, or you can also find me at My Agent Reyes or Facebook as well. So reach out. I'm not afraid to take risk, and I'm always willing to help the next person.
And for those that are listeners only, that's GIL_KINGZ for his Instagram. And for his website, that's My Agent Reyes, MYAGENTREYES.com. And I kind of want to just quickly re do the intro just in case for the listeners that were not able to hear due to the technical difficulty. Just to reiterate that you are a State Farm insurance agent, husband, soon to be father, entrepreneur, real estate investor, proud Latino of Dominican descent, focusing primarily on insurance with a bilingual insurance team, preparing customers for life's unexpected events, assisting with auto, home, life, renters, condo, pet, and boat insurance, as well as assisting small business owners with commercial lines of business in the Jefferson County area of Alabama. But he is not afraid to take risks, as you heard, that he is willing to train individuals who will reach out regarding team organization, team leadership, helping convert or train your staff to convert your calls, convert your prospects, your online leads, etc. Please reach out to him. Thank you so
Yeah.
much once again, Gilbert, for joining this. This is the inaugural episode. You provided so much insight regarding what you do, as well as how we can all just improve everything that we do. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, man. I really appreciate the opportunity. And yeah, like I said, man, you're great. Asking all the right questions, and I appreciate the platform for sure.
Oh, perfect. If you guys like that, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what insight you took and what kind of action you're going to take from listening to what Gilbert provided. Other than that, I wish you a fun and productive rest of your day. Take care and have a great rest of your day then.
All right. See you guys.